Welcome inside Maple Mountain High School for a High School Rewind Game of the Week. I am Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us for our matchup. The Maple Mountain Golden Eagles and the Timpview Thunderbirds. Welcome, everybody. So glad to have you along with us. Got a Region 8 matchup tonight between Timpview and Maple Mountain. Should be a very interesting one. Timpview comes into this matchup 1-0 in region play. Maple Mountain comes in 1-1 after a very up and down but very exciting preseason. Let's start first with the Timpview Thunderbirds. This team went into last year's state tournament. Last season, Timpview was the #1 seed out of their region. They're one of the favorites to win the 4A state championship and were upset in the opening round by Highland. They're trying to put that behind them and looking to get back in the state tournament and make a mark in Coach Santiago's second season at the helm of the Thunderbirds. They're led by Gavin Baxter. Gavin, one of the better players you can see in the state of Utah. It's a kid that's got a Division I player written all over him. He's averaging just a little over 13 points, almost 14 points a game. He's going to have to come up big, and we'll see how he does in the second half of this season, as now we're in region play. And look for a lot of football players and a lot of names that you remember. Devin Kafusi, Gabe Reed, and none other than High School Rewind's 4A MVP in Britton Covey leading the way for the T-Birds. Taking a look at Maple Mountain, this is a team throughout preseason, had a lot of big games, had a lot of fun games, had a close loss at Lehigh. In that game, they're led by Jake Dixon. Jake is averaging 9 points a game, but the leading scorer for Maple Mountain is Cade Polson, who's averaging 16 points a game. And Cade and Jake are going to have to play very well tonight for the Golden Eagles to get the win tonight against the Timpview Thunderbirds. It's a tall task, but this should be a fun one. You know our players, you know our teams, and a couple things to look out for. When we come back, it'll be opening tip-off. You are watching High School Rewind only on Xfinity On Demand. And we're set for the opening tip-off. Samuel Cromanhook jumping it up against Gavin Baxter. And it'll be controlled by Jaron Hall and the Golden Eagles. Here's Polson, hands back, Cromanhook. Here's Jake Dixon. Back to Polson, who pulls for three. And that is off the mark and over the top. And we'll go with Timpview. So down the floor with the Timpview Thunderbirds. And Britton Covey hands off to Gabe Reed. Reed inside out. Here's Nakua along the baseline up top to Reed. Near side Covey. Now Baxter drops it in, kick back out. Nakua for three. That's off the mark, and a rebound will be collected by Jaron Hall. They clear up the floor. Hall committed to BYU to play quarterback. A couple years left in high school. Junior this year. Hall hands back to Durant. Cromanhook swinging around. Here's Dixon. Back to Durant. Now Cromanhook. A lot of ball movement here to get started with Maple Mountain. Back to Dixon. Hands back to Polson. And again, back to Dixon, and he'll swing it back around. Long possessions from Maple Mountain. Both these teams will be very deliberate offensively. Outside Dixon for three. That's off the mark, too strong. Rebound Durant, kicked out to Polson for three. And Polson on the second chance knocks down the long-range three, and it's 3-0 Maple Mountain with 6:35 remaining in the opening quarter. Baxter puts it on the floor, loses the handle, picked up by Durant. Ahead to Polson, who got tripped up with Nakua. And he'll get the foul on Nakua. It'll be the first team foul. So after the foul, here's Hall. Hall pirouette down the lane, inside out. Cromanhook will pull for three. Too strong. Hall try to tip it out. It's out of bounds, and we'll go with Timpview. Back down the floor with Timpview. Here's Britton Covey. Inside Baxter. Baxter goes up with the left hand, too strong, tipped it back, gives it to himself. Again, left hand and good. Gavin Baxter with the first points for the T-Birds. We're inside of 6 minutes. Polson and one. He'll be in Nakua's second foul, and it'll put Cade Polson at the line, looking for the and one. And Polson hits the free throw. 6-2. Polson with all 6 points, 5:50 remaining in the quarter. Quickly up the floor. Up top. Now down the lane, kick back out. Gabe Reed for three, and that's in and out. A rebound tracked down by Durant. Quickly to the floor, Dixon has that pass stolen. Out of bounds. Will stay here at Maple Mountain. Near side to Dixon. Cromanhook back to Dixon. Dixon kicks it back up. Cromanhook Polson on the drive. Polson again gets the defender off of his feet and is fouled. It'll be 2 free throws for Cade Polson. Polson hit the first and the second. Polson 8, Timpview 2 to get started here in the opening quarter. Down the floor with Covey. Covey cross court to Reed. Reed hands back to Santiago, back to Reed. Now Covey. Covey skip pass to Santiago. Looked into Bollinger, back up top Covey. Covey will pull for 3, too strong. Rebound taken once again by Durant, who hands off to Polson. Polson on the push, 4:45 remaining in the first. Hands off Jaron Hall. Hall off the crossover, terminates. Gives it up to Cromanhook. Back to Polson. Polson can get double figures off the mark. It's his own board. Kicks it back up top to Hall. And now on the angle with Polson. On the baseline, kicked out to Durant. Here's Hall. Now Dixon. Abe Durant gives it up to Jaron Hall to reset the offense. 4:05 remaining in the quarter. Gotta be close to that, closely guarded. Reed puts on pressure. Hall coughed it up, taken by Cromanhook, and it'll reset the offense. Long possession, and Polson loses the handle, and so many times this defense is almost like renewing a shot clock in NBA or college ball, and now a foul will go against, and that foul's on Santiago, his second. So Polson has 8 points and has drawn 4 fouls on the T-Birds. And Cromanhook throws in between players. Will go the other way. 3:35 remaining in the quarter. Down the floor with Covey. Out to Santiago. Baxter near side to Reed. Back to Santiago. Pulls for 3. Well too strong. Rebound to Reed. Pirouette in the lane. And there's going to be a foul. And now it'll go against Durant. Covey to trigger after the timeout. Up top to Reed. Gabe Reed, one of the most sought-after football prospects in the state of Utah. One of the best pass rushers in the state. Up top, Baxter gives it up to Covey. Covey, of course, the 2-time 4 MVP. Hands back to Gabe Reed. A lot of questions whether Covey and Reed, where they'll end up. They say they want to play together, and we'll see if that happens. Covey for 3, that's off the mark. And a rebound will go out of bounds, and we'll go with Maple Mountain. 2:50 remaining in the first. Bit of a scoring drought in this ball game. As Hall, high post, turnaround jumper off the mark from Bryson Anderson on the board and push with Covey. Covey cross court Santiago. He's up top of Reed. Back to Covey on the angle. Drop it into Bollinger. A quick draw to the whistle. And that'll be the second team foul on the Golden Eagles. Covey gets it in Bollinger. Bollinger reverses and leaves it short. Gets his own board, leaves it up to Covey. And the smallest guy on the floor goes up and scores. And it's 8-4. And that pass stolen. Santiago on the push. Up top, Covey, cross court, Reed. Reed for 3. Too strong, and a rebound is taken and fouled. Let's see if it goes on Santiago. If it does, it's his third. 2 minutes remaining in the quarter. 8-4, the lead. High post, Cromanhook kicks back to Hall for 3. Too strong. Rebound taken by Bollinger. Up the floor, that's Levi Wilson. Along the baseline, Covey float it, leaves it short. Tipped up by Bollinger, ball still loose. Out of bounds off of Maple Mountain, will stay here. Gets it into Reed. Drop it in, Bollinger. Left hand and scores. So much room, thought maybe he'd leave that short, but he scores, and now 8-6. Polson for 3 off the mark. Rebound to Bollinger. Quickly on the push with Covey. Covey, now Reed. Drop it in, Bollinger, hard to the hole, and one. Nice finish, beautiful pass. And A.J. Bollinger goes to the line. Ties this up at 8. Bollinger looking to give Timpview their first lead. 9-8, Timpview with 1:13 remaining in the quarter. The third team foul first on Cromanhook. Polson, high post, Cromanhook. Kicks it back to Polson, into the corner. 3 on the way and in and out. Off the hand of Garrett Griffin. Now on the run with Covey. Covey cross court to Wilson. Drop it in Bollinger. Bollinger goes to work. Kicks it back up top to Covey along the baseline. Wilson trapped. Try to get to Bollinger and does. And Bollinger scores. Extends the lead 11-8 with 40 seconds remaining. Hall up top. And a 3 on the way. Pardon me, a long shot off the mark. 25 seconds down on the clock. Cooking down the floor with Covey. Wilson, drop it in. Baxter, been quiet in the quarter. Baxter trapped along the baseline, kicks it up top. Covey for 3, too strong. And the rebound collected by Maple Mountain ahead to Polson. 9 seconds for Polson. 7 seconds. Down to 5. Polson loses the handle and is fouled. And it'll be the 16th foul on Timpview. It'll be bonus free throws throughout the entire second quarter. Dixon to trigger with 3.5. Still looking, gets it in. 3 on the way and no foul called and no block. Baxter gives it a heave and it's well short. And that'll do it for the first quarter. The end of 1, Timpview 11, Maple Mountain 8. So start of the second quarter. It was a quick start from Maple Mountain. And offense has not scored in quite some time. Reed up top with Wilson. Wilson along the baseline has that pass stolen. Oh, out of bounds off Maple Mountain. Covey gets it into Reed. Reed working on Anderson, terminates. Kicks it back to Baxter. Now Covey drops it in Bollinger. Big fella going to work on Durant. Kicks it out to Reed. Now into Baxter. Baxter work on the smaller Jake Dixon and scores. And it's now 13-8. Up top of Dixon. Now in the hands of Mark Mortensen. High post. Durant goes to work. And it's a foul. It's a 17th foul. Be 1-on-1 free throws for Abe Durant. Front end a 1-on-1. Durant back rims it. Rebound taken by Wilson. Wilson on the run. Cross court to Reed in the corner. Covey. Now up top, Wilson. Bollinger back to Wilson. Kicked out to Covey. Makes his way in the lane. Leaves it up for Baxter. We're going to have a foul on the baseline. I'll go on Dixon. First personal foul on Dixon. 14th foul on Maple Mountain. Covey into Wilson. And that pass stolen. Nice play by Garrett Griffin. Now on the push. Durant into the corner. Mortensen. Here's Durant. Back up to Mortensen for 3. And Mortensen lights it up from downtown. And it's now 13-11. Baxter to Reed. Baxter working on the dribble. Left-handed shot. Well off the mark. Rebound taken by Durant ahead. Griffin gives it up to Mortensen. The 3's off the mark. Ball still loose. Taken by Covey. Covey on the run. Covey leaves it for Baxter. It might have been a travel. Fans are going to get the call. Leaves it up to Baxter. A nice pass. And it's 15-11. Mortensen. He hit the 3 just a couple possessions ago. Try to go high-low into Durant. Out of bounds off of Gabe Reed. Gets it into Hall. And Hall's mid-range jumper good. And it's 15-13. 5.5 remaining. On the angle with Wilson. Wilson to Bollinger. Bollinger terminates along the baseline. Gets it out to Covey. Covey will reset. Wilson back to Covey. Back to Wilson, into Bollinger. Bollinger back to Covey, now to Reed. Reed will pull for three. That's short, rebound taken by Durant. Durant hands off to Jaron Hall. Hall ahead to Mortensen. Into the corner. Again, Mortensen for three, off the mark. On the push is Reed. They'll reset the offense for Coach Santiago. Drop it in. Kafusi terminates. Gets it up top. Wilson back to Reed. Reed drive the lane, left hand, and scored. Big fellow rumbles down the lane and gets his first two. Quickly down the floor with Polson. And Polson now with 10 points. And it's 17-15. Quickly down the floor. Reed. Cross court. Wilson. Back to Reed. Into Bollinger. Double comes from Dixon. Bollinger dribbles that out of bounds. They're going to say off of Maple Mountain. Nakua comes on. Had two fouls quickly. That was Adam Santiago. Now Nakua into the hands of Reed. Reed up top, Nakua. Back to Reed. Here's Covey. Reed back to Santiago. 3:40 remaining in the first half. Nakua to Santiago. Dixon comes out, pressures him. Long possessions from both of these teams. Here's Covey, cross court, Nakua. Nakua work along the baseline, goes to the hole and scores. Looked like he was looking to give it up. That might have loosened the defense. Led him right to the bucket. 19-15 in favor of Timpview. Here's Jaron Hall. 3:15 remaining in the half. High post kicks out. Polson pulls for three. Off the mark and rebound taken by Nakua. Into the hands of Covey. Covey, threaded that through to Kafusi. I went through a lot of hands there. Hall gets the ball and is fouled. And I believe that's on Nakua. And if it is, that's number 3 on Nakua. And it'll be 2 free throws for Jaron Hall. First free throw good from Jaron Hall's got one more. And the second lips out on the rebound taken by Reed. 19-16. 10 of the 16 points of Maple Mountain scored by Cade Polson. 8 of them in the first quarter. Points are at a premium with the way both these teams are playing offense. Nakua up top. Santiago for the deep three. Off the mark. Rebound goes out of bounds. We'll go with Maple Mountain. 2:35 remaining in the first half. Down the floor with Maple Mountain. Katire take the lead. A little 1.8-2 in this ball game. Lost the lead at 9-8. Hall keeps his dribbles. He can touch the floor. Croman hook back to Hall on the angle of Polson. Along the baseline, Polson will float it up. Too strong. Rebound tipped out of the hands by Nakua into the hands of Kafusi. Quickly up the floor now with Covey. Here's Reed. Reed tried to go opposite block to Kafusi. Picked off. Going the other way with Jaron Hall. Hall picks his way through the lane. Kicks out to Polson. Polson looked like he was going to jump, and he did. I get him with the travel call. And we'll go the other way. So after the turnover, down the floor with Covey. Covey inside of Baxter, and Baxter goes up and flushes with two hands. 4 points for Baxter, 21-16, Timpview. Polson along the baseline off the hands of Kafusi, picked up by Baxter. Baxter leaves it on the angle to Covey, cross court Nakua, up top Reed. Here's Covey. Got so many good basketball players in the state of Utah. Inside to Baxter, got a foul on Croman Hook, got underneath him. Inbound into Baxter. Mentioned Baxter is only a junior. Got a lot of weight to put on. He's got some more room to grow. Nakua back to Baxter. Here's Covey. Baxter kicks out to Covey. Inside of a minute. Try to lob in to Reed. That's off the mark. We'll go the other way. 45 seconds remaining in the first half. Down the floor with Jaron Hall. Now Maple Mountain. Outside Jake Dixon. Dixon. Now Hall. Back the other side. 3 on the way and off the back of the iron. Off the hand of Garrett Griffin. Quickly ahead to Baxter. And Baxter with the left hand throws it down. 2 dunks in the final moments of the first half for Gavin Baxter. 6 points in the half. Up top with Jaron Hall. Now Dixon with 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Dixon kicks it out. 3 on the way. And oh my heavens, it was halfway down and out for Garrett Griffin. 2 good looks at the end of the half. Couldn't get either to drop. And that'll do it for the first half of play. 2 quarters in, and it's Timpview 23, Maple Mountain 16. High School Rewind is excited to have Nudge as our Player of the Game sponsor. Nudge is one of the fastest growing companies in Utah Valley. With over 500 employees, Nudge is one of the largest contributors of volunteer community outreach programs. To learn more about Nudge and their program, visit www.nudge.com. Start of the second half and a 7-point deficit for Maple Mountain. Going to find some offense. Cade Polson has all but 6 points for the Golden Eagles in this ball game. Here's Durant. Anderson back to Durant in the corner. Durant down the lane to the hole. Put up the shot and gets the foul. It'll be 2 free throws. The foul will be charged to Bollinger. Durant missed the first free throw. And back rims the second. Back down the floor with Covey and the T-Birds. Both teams move the ball around the perimeter, try to find an inside game, and Bollinger gets the easy 2, and it's 25-16. Here's Dixon, really quiet in this ball game. Hall back to Dixon. Anderson along the baseline to Durant. Gives it up. Polson. Polson swatted away by Baxter. Polson wanted a goaltending. Goaltending didn't get up high enough. Wasn't above the rim. Nakua has that ball. The ball still loose. Alternate possession belongs to Timpview as the untangled players. And still no signal. Did get the jump ball. So his next possession will go to Maple Mountain. 6:40 remaining in the third. Here Covey. Off the screen of Baxter. Inside Bollinger. Bollinger kicks up top Baxter. Big fella gives it out to Reed. Reed along the baseline. Pirouette in the lane. Double clutches. Gets it out to Bollinger. And they'll reset the offense with Covey. Nakua give it up to Covey. Covey back to Nakua. Skip pass to Reed, drop it in Bollinger. Bollinger has that ball slapped away into the hands of Jaron Hall. And Hall cross court to Anderson. Bryson Anderson for 3. Off the mark, Baxter with the board into the hands of Nakua. Nakua to Covey along the baseline to Baxter. And they get a foul on the floor. And it'll be the first team foul against Maple Mountain in the half. Here's Covey. Lob into Baxter! Oh, they wave it off. A highlight reel dunk goes away. Would have been our best play of the year thus far. Baxter, man, that was a full extension. Polson's mid-range J goes in and out. Baxter with the board, quickly down the floor. Lost the handle in the hands of Bollinger. Give it up to Covey. Covey along the baseline, wrap it around to Nakua. Back to Covey. Nakua to Baxter, 4-3. Flat and off the mark. Rebound to Bryson Anderson. Can only hope for another baseline inbound, but now Maple Mountain be looking for it. Hall saves it into the corner to Durant. Durant hits a cutting Polson. Pirouette in the lane, gives it up to Dixon. Dixon down the lane, float up the left hand. They're going to get Reed with the bump. And it'll be 2 free throws for Jake Dixon. And Dixon has both go out. Durant with the board, and Abe Durant lays it up and in, and it's 25-18. First points of the half for Maple Mountain. We're inside of 5 minutes of 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Here's Reed. And as that one slapped away, picked up by Dixon, he tracks it down. Dixon on the push. Retreats, gives it up to Anderson. And Anderson's jumper is good. And it's 25-20. 2:25 remaining in the third quarter. Dimension points are at a premium. Right now looks like the first team to 40. Is somewhat of the race here. Nakua. High post to Baxter. Baxter going to face up on Dixon. Kicks out to Covey. Covey down the lane to the hole and finishes. 27-20. Dixon. Again to Anderson, and a foul on Nakua. If it is on Nakua, it's number 4. Anderson put on the floor, kicks it out to Polson. Polson finds Hall. Hall along the baseline, gives it up to Dixon. Dixon out to Anderson. Anderson will jump it and score it. 27-22, 3:40 remaining in the third. Back down the floor with Covey. Cross court, Nakua. Back up top to Britton Covey. Here's Nakua. Baxter will pull for 3, and Gavin Baxter from downtown having himself a pretty good game, 30-22. The lead for Timpview. Give it up to Anderson. Anderson cross court, Polson pulls for 3. Polson can't answer. Kafusi with the board, hands off to Covey. Covey in the corner. Santiago back up top, Nakua. Now to Baxter. Baxter working on Dixon. Loses the handle, trying to go behind the back and tracks it down. Baxter in the lane. Kicks out Santiago, now Nakua. Nakua for 3. Well too strong off the hands of Nakua. Hall tries to save it into Dixon. Dixon quickly into the front court. To Anderson in the corner. Anderson off the mark. And a rebound to Samson Nakua. Timpview looking to extend their lead. Covey has that one go over the top. And we'll go the other way with the Golden Eagles. Hall, high post, kick back out. 3 on the way, and good for Mortensen. Mortensen's second 3, and it's 30-25 with 2 minutes remaining in the third. Nakua out to Baxter. Baxter give up to Santiago. And Santiago up top to Nakua. Covey. Cross court. Now try to get into Kafusi. Oh, yeah, they were going to call a foul. The ball had to stay with Maple Mountain, and it will. Down the floor with Hall. 1:35 remaining in the third. Hall back to Mortensen, who just hit the 3. And Anderson back to Mortensen. Thought about 3 and hung on. Mortensen now to Hall. Hall will pull for 3. Leaves it short. Rebound to Baxter. On the push of Wilson. Hands back to Baxter. Here's Covey. Covey, cross court to Wilson. 1:05 remaining. Covey, lob it up to Kafusi. Kafusi gathers himself. They're going to get the foul on Anderson. Thought maybe he got that cleanly as he put the ball behind his head. But it'll be 2 free throws coming away of Devin Kafusi. Back rims the second, and it rolls in. 31-25 with 55 seconds remaining in the third. Cross court, Mortensen. 4-3. Mortensen, it's his third three. Keeping Maple Mountain in the ball game. 31-28, 44 seconds remaining in the third. Up top to Baxter. Baxter kicks it out to Wilson into the corner. Covey. Covey hanging, and now we got a foul in the paint. That'll go against Cromanhook. And that's the 13th foul on Maple Mountain. Covey to trigger. Inbound to Wilson off the mark. Into the hands of Mortensen. Mortensen's got the hot hand for Maple Mountain. Here's Anderson. Anderson and Mortensen have scored the last 10 points for Maple Mountain. 15 seconds remaining. Down to 10 seconds. Hall with Griffin. Griffin will jump it from the junction, and that's off the mark into the hands of Baxter. 2 seconds. 1 second. That's after the horn, and he hit it. Are they going to give it to him? They're going to say yes. I thought the ball was well in his hands. They'll talk about it right now. Baxter with the play of the game. And they're going to count the bucket. That was well after the horn. And after 3 quarters of play, it's 34-28 on the Baxter quarter-length shot. So they count the bucket. It's a 6-point lead, 34-28. Maple Mountain needs to keep pace. High post. Kicks out. Griffin on the baseline. Leaves it up for the big man at the left hand. And finish. Nice take and finish by Dawson Butler. Cooking up the floor with Timpview. Out to Baxter. Wilson into the corner. Covey, cross court, Nakua. Has back to Wilson. Wilson to Covey. Back to Nakua. Not a very fast-paced offense from Timpview, but very good spacing on the floor from the T-Birds. Hands back to Baxter, who will pull for the deep three, and that's off the mark. Rebound taken by Anderson. 34-30, and that ball's picked up by Baxter. Too long of a pass, and the defense is set. Wilson, beautiful pass to Covey. Covey loses it, and it's in the hands of Butler. Ahead to Griffin. Griffin terminates inside Anderson. He'll circle back around, and he'll reset with Griffin. Into Hall, back in the corner, Anderson. Anderson to Griffin. Griffin will float it up and score it. 34-32 with 6:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Here's Baxter. Up top to Nakua. On the angle with Covey, back to Baxter. Now in the corner, Nakua. Here's Wilson. Now Covey. Covey works off the screen. Covey to the hole, floated up and no. Foul on the play. The 14th foul against Maple Mountain. 6:16 remaining in the fourth. Inbound to big fella, Bollinger. Give it up to Wilson. Up top, Santiago. On the angle, Nakua. If nothing else, Timpview wins the All-Hair Award with Santiago and Nakua and a couple others on the bench. Nakua hands back to Santiago. Santiago kicks out Wilson. Wilson off the window and good. 36-32, 5:50 now on the clock. Here's Polson. Been quiet since the first quarter. Polson along the baseline. Give it up in the corner to Mortensen. Mortensen up top of Hall. High post Anderson. Anderson back to Polson. Along the baseline, the ball's tipped into the hands of Butler, slapped away by Baxter. And Baxter is fouled by Mortensen. Be the 15th foul on Maple Mountain. There's Covey. Trap comes. Covey gets it out to Nakua. Bollinger backdoor to Baxter, who goes up for the alley-oop. Bollinger with a beautiful pass, and Gavin Baxter with his third dunk and the first alley-oop. The first was waved off on a foul, and it's now 38-32 Timpview. Polson backs it out. Anderson kicks out to Hall. Back to Anderson. Anderson to Polson, who pulls for three. Off the mark and rebound taken by Nakua. 4:50 remaining in the fourth quarter. Maple Mountain's going to have to find offense, and they also have to speed the game up. Coach Santiago giving a signal. Looks like they're going to run clock. It could be a different signal. Here's Covey to Baxter. Yeah, definitely not running clocks. Baxter pulls for 3. And Butler takes the board. It's a foul on Bollinger. 15 foul on Timpview. Down the floor with Jaron Hall and the Maple Mountain. Polson. Hard to the hole, floated up and score it. They need Polson to get going. 38-34, 4:15 remaining. Back down the floor with Covey. Wilson lob into Bollinger. That's off the hands of Butler. No, they call Bollinger. And we'll go the other way with Timpview. Misspoke there. Go the other way with Maple Mountain off of Timpview. 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, halfway through. Trailing by 4. Maple Mountain needs some points. Here's Hall. Give it up to Polson. Polson again for 3. And Polson has 5 straight points. And it's 38-37. 3:45 remaining in the fourth quarter. Reed drop it inside to Bollinger. Bollinger working on Durant, has the ball tipped. And Hall able to track it down along the baseline. Quickly down the floor with the Eagles to look to take the lead. Mortensen up top with Hall. Now to Dixon, high post to Durant, back to Polson. 4-3. 8 straight points from Cade Polson. And it's 40-38. First lead since they led 8-7. Pardon me, 8-6. It was a made bucket and 1. Baxter at the high post. Kicks out to Covey. Covey down the lane is fouled. They get that on Hall. It'll be his second, I believe. That's a 16 foul. It'll be bonus free throws remainder of the way for Timpview. 2:58 remaining in the fourth quarter. Covey to trigger, gets it in to Reed. Reed, pirouette to the lane. Misses the bunny. And a rebound to Durant, and they're going to get a foul on Reed. That's the 16th foul on Timpview. Next free throw will be bonus free throws. So after the foul, down the floor with Jaron Hall and Maple Mountain. 8 straight points from Cade Polson. Dixon off the screen. Dixon hard to the hole, floats it up, won't go. Rebound to Covey, quickly down on the floor. Covey weaving his way through, finds Reed. And Reed lays it up and in and ties us up at 40. That was like football version of Britton Covey weaving his way through defenders and finding the open man. Dixon. Here's Polson. Came alive here in the last couple minutes. Kicks it out up top with Durant. This ball has to go through Polson. Polson into the corner, Durant. Durant into the lane, give it up, and scoring is Samuel Cromanhook. And it's now 42-40. Inside of 2 minutes. 1:55 remaining in the fourth quarter. Baxter on the angle to Nakua. Sampson hands back to Gabe Reed. On the angle, Gavin Baxter down the baseline. Big fella up top to Reed, who pulls for 3. Oh, that was online a little too strong. We'll go the other way with Maple Mountain. 1:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Here's Hall. Backdoor Polson, floated up and crawls off. Baxter with the rebound. Baxter is fouled by Durant. It'll be 1-on-1 free throws for Gavin Baxter. Front end a 1-on-1 for Gavin Baxter. 1:26 remaining in the fourth. And it rolls off, rebound to Bollinger, stolen by Dixon. Dixon up the floor. Covey rolled his ankle going for the steal. It'll be Jake Dixon, 1-on-1 free throws with 1:21 remaining in the fourth quarter. Dixon on the front end, leaves it short. In the hands of Baxter. He hands off to Covey. 1:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. 2-point lead for the Golden Eagles. Here's Nakua. Nakua in the lane, jump stop, floated up, no. Gets his own board and lays it up and in. Ties us up at 42, 1 minute remaining. Coach Avery asking for one shot as we got 55 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. All tied up at 42. Durant He's going to hold it out. Now down to 45 seconds. Timpview just willing to sit back. Magic will take a timeout, about 15 seconds remaining. As Bollinger comes out to put pressure on Abe Durant. He hands off to Polson nearly. Messed that whole thing up as Nakua put pressure on. 30 seconds, pardon me. And now a foul on Nakua. It'll be one-on-one free throws for Cade Polson. Mistake by Samson Nakua. Front end of one-on-one for Cade Polson. Back rim, tipped out by Durant in the hands of Reed. And it's now Timpview's ball with a chance to win. 20 seconds and a timeout taken by Coach Santiago. 20.4 remaining. Timpview ball all tied up at 42. 20.4 remaining. Timpview to inbound. Get it into Gabe Reed and hat off to Samson Nakua. 15 seconds remaining. Polson pressuring Nakua. 10 seconds. High post to Bollinger. 8 seconds. Covey. Too strong. Rebound tipped up. No! Ball still loose. And Reed is out of bounds. This should be Maple Mountain ball. And it is. 9/10 of a second remaining. Maple Mountain ball. The quarterback, Jaron Hall, will inbound. It'll have to be a Christian Leitner type play into Polson. Taken by Nakua. It'll count if it goes. Oh, just off the mark from Nakua. And we're heading to overtime. 42-42, Maple Mountain and Timpview. Start OT. And the tip controlled by Bollinger and the T-Birds. 4-minute quarter. Outside of Gabe Reed. Reed high post Bollinger. Bollinger hands off to Covey. Back to Reed. Big fella terminates, hands back to Nakua. And Timpview will reset. 30 seconds into the possession. Nakua gives up to Reed. Off the screen of Bollinger. Reed out to Nakua. Nakua in the lane, give it up Bollinger, outside to Reed. Here's Baxter, back up top to Covey, and they'll reset once again. Nakua pressured by Polson, gives it up to Covey. Inside of a minute of the possession. Covey hard to the hole and scores. The whistle from the official was to change the quarter on the scoreboard. So 44-42. High post, drop it into Dixon. Back up top, three on the way. Off the rim, Polson goes for the board. Out of bounds off of Polson. We'll go the way. After the three goes off by Cromanhook. 44-42, 2.5 remaining in overtime. Up top, Baxter outside to Nakua. Nakua straight away with Reed. Mid-range jumper from Covey. Off the window and good. Covey struggled offensively throughout the night. He has 4 points in overtime, and it's 46-42. Hall hanging on a pivot, gives it up to Polson. Polson guarded by Nakua. Polson drives his way to the hoop. Foul on the floor. It'll be one-on-one free throws for Cade Polson. Front end of one-on-one. Back rimmed. Rebound to Baxter. Got a short game with 2 minutes remaining in overtime. With a 2-possession lead for Timpview. Timeout, Coach Santiago. 1:51 remaining in overtime. Reed will inbound. 1:51 remaining in overtime. Goes back court to Covey. Covey outside to Reed. Reed goes to Nakua, nobody home. And we'll go the way with Maple Mountain. Big possession for Maple Mountain. Got to have points come out of this possession. Off the screen. They try to go to Polson off the double screen. Cromanhook out to Polson for three. Polson looked like he was fouled on the shot, no call. And now the ball off the legs of Covey, still loose. And along the near side, out of bounds off of Timpview. It'll be Maple Mountain ball. 1:18 remaining. Oh, the pass nearly stolen by Reed, but Hall tracks it down. Hall down the lane. Hall to the rim and finishes. 46-44, 1:10 remaining. Full court pressure comes from Maple Mountain. And a foul on Hall on the inbound. Covey at the line for 1-1. That was the 8th team foul on Maple Mountain. Back rim, rebound to Durant. Chance to tie. 1 minute remaining in overtime. Hall breaks down Reed in the lane. Hall to the bucket, and it rolls off, and he's fouled by Baxter. It'll be 2 free throws for Jaron Hall with 53 seconds remaining. First free throw good from Hall. Got one more. All tied up at 56. Pardon me, 46. 46 Hall, 53.6 remaining. After Hall hits 2 clutch free throws. Coach Santiago want to run the clock down. 45 seconds now. Covey. Oh, Bollinger just twisted his ankle. He's down with 35 seconds. Bollinger writhing in pain on the floor. Covey quickly inbounds to Nakua with 35 seconds remaining. He hands back to Wilson. Gonna run, clock, 30 seconds now remaining. Timpview had a look at the end of regulation that just could come out, and the putback by Baxter had crawled out. 20 seconds remaining. Covey with Hall. Covey swings back around, 13 seconds. 10 seconds, Covey to the hole, left hand too strong. Rebound to Dixon, he has it, 5 seconds. Hall ahead for the win, 2 seconds remaining. The officials got the timeout of Coach Santiago. They're going to get the players off the floor. It's 48-46. There should be about 1.2 seconds remaining in the clock. Let's get the students back in. But it'll be Timpview ball after the score from Cromanhook. Golden Eagles 48, Timpview 46, 2.1 back on the clock. 2.1 seconds remaining after Cromanhook's layup. 48-46. They're going to lob into Baxter. Baxter gets the catch. It'll count if it goes. Too strong. And Maple Mountain comes from behind, down 4 in overtime to get the 48-46 win over Timpview. A great comeback from Maple Mountain in the 4th quarter to force overtime. And then a great comeback to get the win. And Baxter's shot was online. Thought it might go in. But our final score, Maple Mountain 48, Timpview 46. Stay tuned for our post-game wrap-up and our Nudge Player of the Game selection. And welcome back inside Maple Mountain High School. Again, our final score, Maple Mountain 48 and Timpview 46. An outstanding ball game. Timpview had control of this game, but really never distanced themselves very far from Maple Mountain. And Maple Mountain just stayed in the game all night long, and then there was a big push at the end to get the win. Let's first talk about Timpview. Gavin Baxter got things going at the end of the first half. He had 2 dunks for the end of the half. He had probably could be our number 1 play, depending on what happens remainder of this week in our top 5 plays, with the alley-oop dunk from Bollinger. Absolutely spectacular. And then you had the controversial 3-pointer at the end of the 3rd quarter, which from our view and our angle, the ball was still in Baxter's hands. He let it off. The officials counted the bucket, giving a 6-point lead to Timpview going into the 4th quarter. But Maple Mountain able to overcome all those things. They'll be able to come back in this game. Let's talk about Cade Polson. Cade Polson had the first 8 points for Maple Mountain, had 10 at the half. And then down the stretch, he had 8 consecutive points for Maple Mountain to get them the lead in this ball game. Did an outstanding job. He is our Nudge Player of the Game. Played very, very well without Cade Polson. Maple Mountain's not in this game. But then there's different sections of this one. In overtime, it was Jaron Hall who had the layup and then also the drive to the bucket, almost had the and one, and hit the big free throws to tie the game up after Britton Covey hit 2 shots to give a 4-point lead to Timpview. But it was Hall that erased it, tied it up at 46, and then which led to the missed shot by Britton Covey and a leak out and hit to Cromanhook, who laid it up and in, and Baxter almost hit the shot at the buzzer, but it was a terrific game tonight. Big Region 8 game. We talked about Maple Mountain needing this game. They were 1-0 in region, or 1-1 in region play. Pardon me. Now 2-1. Evens Timpview at 1-1. So Region 8 should be a lot of fun to see what happens. The return game to the Thunderdome will be very, very interesting. This should be a lot of fun, but again, a great game in overtime tonight and a big win from Maple Mountain. Again, our final score, Maple Mountain 48, Timpview 46. Our Nudge player of the game goes to Cade Polson. And Nudge, with over 500 employees, one of the fastest growing companies in Utah Valley. To learn more about Nudge and their community outreach programs, go to www.nudge.com. Again, thank you for joining us. And our final score, Maple Mountain 48, Timpview 46. For Vince Francis, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us and watching High School Rewind, only on Xfinity On Demand.